following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1. I want to take you guys back 20 months ago when it was just a simple man named Vapor and Peter Onjack playing. That's right, 20 months ago, all the way back in 2023. We got to go back to August 23 the last time those guys met, all the way back in the first round. And it was Vapor winning that day and starting his ascent upwards. For Peter, though, it was a different story. He was already locked in to the first ever edition of Super League after his March triumph. But that was all the way back in 2023. We're going to Rio. Now the quest to Bangkok begins today. For Vapor, it was a tragic, maybe a tragic win or a tragic loss for his old buddy Tagoe. A bittersweet moment. He knows how much Tagoe's meant to him in this league, but he got the job done to sweep. And for Peter, he got the March Commander Trophy. Took care of me, took care of Nick. He's the king of March of us three. Now the question is, can he readapt off that high and play Vapor and look for some sweet revenge almost 20 months ago? Something's got to give because this Mustang region has been running free. Hello everybody and welcome to Vapor versus Peter. It is going to be a classic battle. Two OGs. The first ever champion and a guy that was supposed to be here from the start in Vapor. You never know when this last match could be. We all know about the Vapor retirement tour. So we got to enjoy these moments while we can. But how did we get here? Well, what a game it was today. Seth versus Ed. Ed, Seth, back and forth, ping pong, you name it, slice and dice and fruit ninja, whatever you want to say on a table. It was absolute masterclass. The light switching was crazy, and so was the moves. But a big win for Edward Ziemba in Game 9. Gets him the job done. Congratulations to Seth on 100 starts. But it was Ed moving on to his second ever E8 appearance, as we'll see him in the Endurance 8 in Automotive April. Favorite Peter coming up next. Then the last game of the day will be Yepes Lair, the Ultimate Nightcap, 10:30. That'll be with Not Short way after dark. I expect shenanigans there. 7 o'clock, though, between Logan Mitt, that supposedly was supposed to happen today. Of course, as I said, some internet issues. We did get it resolved. That will now be scheduled for Thursday. The winner of this game will play that. And how do we get there? Well, it will be Peter versus Vapor, of course, right next, coming up. And then Logan Myth at 7 o'clock on Thursday. That is locked in, confirmed. Winner will play either Peter or Vapor. Crazy to see. It's another pod where it's went wild. It was a good early rounds. We saw the chalk, and then all of a sudden the fireworks after Myth upset and Logan upset. Vapor, really a little minor upset. Same with Peter on the start with Goldie and, of course, Tagoe. But Peter taking the big upset over Nick, Logan over Lane, and Myth over Ghost. That's how it's got us here into the 5, 6, 7, 9 combo. In a fun one here in the Sport Mode 16 in Automotive April. Well, we're going to have a great guest in the booth today. Cannot wait for this one because it's my main man just coming off the game, Seth Cole, fresh off the boat, fresh off the, I guess we'll say track. Why not, Seth? It's Automotive and fresh off the track, my friend, as we got some guests in here. What are you expecting, my man? It's Vapor Peter. This is a 20-month match in the making, 20-old month match, I guess you could say, in the making. It's been crazy to say it's been that long since the last time these guys have seen each other, but they're both coming in hot. Obviously, Peter being the current March champ with Nick, and then Vapor beating his old buddy Tagoe and Camaro to start the tournament. Thoughts on this one? We know light switching was the key in your game. I think it's going to be the same thing. Peter known for number efficiency, Vapor known for light switching. This could be a fun one.
Absolutely, and you talk about the fact it's been 20 months since these two last met. I'm not sure that they're the same players that they would remember from 20 months ago. We talked about this a couple hours ago, KT, on the evolution of the playing that has been going on here, and it has completely closed up the gap in terms of skill level now. It's almost a who's who of who's going to walk out with a victory in every single matchup, regardless of what the seeding is heading into each one of these tournaments. I think that we're going to be talking a lot about what we've talked about here in the past, all the way down here through Automotive April, and that is limit the mistakes, control what you can control. It seems fitting that we're here in the Mustang region because we've seen so many times where you try and tame that wild Mustang, you're going to get bucked off a time or two, you're going to find yourself down a game or two, but you can't give up. You got to keep fighting, got to keep doing what brings you to the table, because we've seen so many times 2-0 deficits get drawn back up to 2-2, 3-0 deficits get brought up to almost a reverse sweep. I mean, it's continually how this bot meta gives us entirely different games consecutively. You can have a blowout one game, and then you can go into a major draw city a second game. So you have to be ready for all the different scenarios, and we have continued to see how the games draw closer and closer and closer as we get further on in here into this tournament, and now heading here into this round of 16. I think you're going to see both of these players. They're going to kind of go back to what brought them to the table, may see a lot of similarity in their style of play. How do they counter that is going to be the key question.
I appreciate it. So we actually got some people in the YouTube chat, and it's kind of surprising or something. Peter, you got a lot of fans, so I'll actually take Peter. I'll give him a question, but Vapor's the home team. Seth, let's rock it, my man. You're going to take Vapor's side. I got the Peter side. Go ahead and ask that question. Good. Go for it, my man. The Vapor.
Vapor, we mentioned about that gap. 20 months since you last faced off against Peter. You've been nigh on unstoppable here in this Automotive April. So kind of going off what I was talking about. How much do we see of the classic Vapor here today? How much outside the comfort zone do you go to try and throw Peter off? And what are you expecting in terms of on the other side of the table? Do you think that you can kind of adhere to the playbook that you had, what would it be, over a couple of years ago? Or do you think it's an entirely new playbook here today?
Yeah, man, 2023 was so long ago. I honestly was pretty bad in 2023. I didn't have any of the strategies I did now and stuff, so having a win then really means nothing. It just is a number in the win column in my career. So I think today I just keep playing the game plan that I've been playing because it's worked so far. I mean, I've only lost once so far this tournament. I'm 8-1 so far. I don't foresee, the blistering streak that I've been on continuing per se, but I mean, if the strategies that I've been playing with have been working, I don't see no reason why they wouldn't continue against Peter.
All right, I'll go to Peter Onjack. Peter, a lot of fans for you here today in the old chat, but more importantly, buddy, it's about getting revenge. As I said 20 months ago, is a long time ago, and I don't even know if it's the same league we can recognize as both OGs here. But more importantly, man, you've been on a hot streak, a heater to say. 8-4 coming in, a lot of momentum. You've been really working on that efficiency on the light switch. Number efficiency has been top tier so far. What's made you able to get back into the renaissance mode? But also, you have to stay humble knowing this is a big game. There's a lot that rides on this one, especially since you are the lowest seed in this region, but yet you've knocked off the king of the throne of Nick. How do you balance the success, but also the hunger and desire ready to play Vapor in a rematch?
That's good, and I'm not really treating this as a rematch or a rivalry or anything. I mean, I'm more treating this as I'm 2/3 of the way there to get over this hump that I was on all of 2024. I just could not get out of these early rounds, and now I'm finally to the mid-round again, and this is the last step. This is the last step for me to have anyone consider me be a top player in this league again. And I know somewhere inside of me, I still am that player, so hopefully I can prove that today.
Appreciate that, Peter. And Seth, I think that's the cool thing about you get a matchup like this. Vapor, we all know the story. It's been well documented. This is it. It's the last two raw, right? There's nothing else to hold back. This is it for 2025. We all know the story. But for Peter, when you're at the top of the mountain, everything's clear. The air is thinner, right? There's not as many people up there. And as the years have went by, he's found himself somewhere towards the middle of the mountain trying to get back to the ascension. How hard is that? How hard is that to reacclimate back to the top when you were once there and find that grit? Go ahead real quick before we start.
Yeah, right. And we've seen so many times things happen like that where you've got all that momentum and in the blink of an eye, maybe something completely out of your control, you find yourself observing the rest of the tournament, eliminated early on. And yeah, to be able to get yourself back into that mindset, to get back into that winning mode can be somewhat difficult. You may have a little bit of a strike to your confidence of, do I need to change something up now? Did what I did before, was that the key factor, or was it some unmitigating factor that was out of my control? So, the fact that he was able to take down the defending tournament winner from last time out in Nick, that I think definitely would help as far as a confidence booster. And I think for Vapor as well, you were talking about kind of a nothing to lose attitude here with this being the final tournament he's taking part in 2025. I think that kind of gives him a little bit of levity as well. A lot of times it's really odd. You'd think that somebody that goes into a must-win scenario, and I put that in air quotes, would find a lot of pressure. But no, they actually find a bit of solace in that, because that gives them a little bit more freedom to be on the offensive. They don't find themselves kind of on a two-way street mentally. They just going down a one-way street. And so we'll have to see. Obviously it's really, I think, going to come down to a big momentum boost in terms of confidence and controlling each one of these games as to who's going to come on top in this matchup.
Gonna be a good one. We all know the story. Vapor, of course, as you said, every tournament, it's his last rodeo. So he's gonna make it count, and we're gonna do that right now with the famous words on the table. Seth's gonna be our scorekeeper, Cody Smart ref. You guys know the drill. Quad deuces and a singular Vapor game night if we get there. That's your winning lottery numbers. That's 22221. Put them in the chat. Let's have a go on. Vapor, it's game one. You know the drill, buddy. You're the home team. What's the home squad cooking up for game one, my friend?
You probably guessed I'm going 5 first off.
Oh, yeah. We're going to start it off with no juice, no batteries. Let's go, no send, and it can go quick, Seth. Let's get the scoreboard underway as we start with the Red Ghost 1.
Yeah, starting off with a little chaos there, right? Kind of almost putting the first game in the bot's hands in terms of what it's going to give for the potential ammo here right out of the gate.
Well, right off the gate, let's do a little switch action. There's Vapor already with the green one. Both guys deafened up. This is good, Seth. We can say whatever the hell we want.
Exactly, yeah. And sometimes too, it can be beneficial to listen to what we say, but at the same time, we might end up kind of observing something and be wrong, and they play based off what we say, and it's like, no, why did I listen to the commentators? I mean, we're only able to kind of talk about what we're observing here and make some guesstimations. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, but I do like the deafening there. Just go into your own little personal space. Don't let anything else distract you. Tunnel vision.
Old tunnel vision. And right now, the vision is both guys are playing fast and furious. That's different when we saw you guys play today. Very fast, off the kilter. We're ready to roll here. Fired up here at 5 o'clock.
Well, I think with the 5-card start, right, there's not a whole lot that you have to plan out. If you've got a way to win, it's just straight on from there. If you know you're going to go into a draw city, it's straight on from there. When we end up having the higher tier amount of cards, like 13, 14, 15, then, there's a lot of planning that goes into it. So if we end up getting into that territory, I don't think you'll see quite as rapid a style of play as we see here in game one.
Peter goes for the quick heater right there to match Vapor's yellow as we go into a yellow 7 of the Grim. Here comes Peter looking to roll again. 5-7, Vapor up 2 possessions.
So far, amazingly enough, we've not had a whole lot of color swap over all 4 colors. We've run only in the green and the yellow. So, I don't know, there might have been that one card that each one of them maybe had in the red or blue, and they just couldn't find a path over to it.
Yeah, Peter going to draw it. Here comes Vapor. What has he got in this yellow? He has good feel for these 5-card starts. He'll go for a yellow 4 to Rogers. Still a lot of numbers here, Seth. Nothing cooking up really on ammo other than that skip.
So that says to me that both these guys were planning on number efficiency right out of the gate. That might have been a draw there of that +2. Vapor gets to do a little double play there. Could be dangerous, though. He's down to 2 cards, and that gives Peter 11 now. Might give him some ammunition to draw Vapor back away from the brink of Uno.
Here comes Peter. 2 freshies. What is he saving a tank? We'll find out right here. Loading up. Peter taking his time. Does he have a save play? That's how 5 can go sometimes. Luck of the draw. But 2 freshies will help. And there's a save right there, Seth. +4 action.
Absolutely. Yep. You kind of felt that was going to happen. Either a +2 or a wild +4. I don't really think that a wild would have been able to necessarily stop, because there's not really a read on what color potentially to finish here for Vapor would have been. And Vapor, oh, look at this. So going over to the red there. I don't know. Would that have been like some of the cards that he was holding on to for the finish? Was that the 4 freshies he got? Might have opened the door a little bit here, make it a little bit easier for Vapor to find a finish.
Yeah, I got to ask that question, Seth, for sure, when we get to the post-game of those Reds. Here comes Peter, though, and he'll go for a double, trying to close the gap, but Vapor's still in control, trying to erase that +4 from earlier. He's one away from doing that. Peter looking to fire back as we go double background on the Ditto cards. Here we go.
It might have opened up that +2 on one side, that +4 on the other side. Might have opened it up a little bit for both sides here. But again, like, was that all the ammo they had? Did that already deplete their ammo, and now they're back to where they started with the number efficiency? A little 1-2 check there from Peter, and the swap over to the green by Vapor. So that the extra 2 cards did not dissuade him. He was ready for the swap over.
Yeah, that was a ruthless play right there, Seth from Vapor. Just no hesitation. Didn't even. It almost like he wasn't looking at those cards. Green 3 on the money. Crazy.
Didn't care what the 2 cards were.
He'll draw here. Now Peter with the advantage. Just like that, he flipped it back into the momentum. It's the old tortoise versus hare. Peter was a little bit of the tortoise, and now he's going to be the hare. Vapor was the hare, and now he's the tortoise as we switch back to yellow into the bow tie deuce. Vapor goes for a double play reverse. He plays quick, man. You got to be on it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting here, now putting it on the zero sugar, if you will, with 2 cards remaining. Yeah, Peter now at Uno, at the check. Vapor, nothing he can do for a color swap. Is that it? No! Peter did not have the finish, and now Vapor's a check!
Vapor turns the script. What's the top deck from Peter, though? Is he got a magical top deck? Let's find out.
Oh, he did! The color to the red!
It's gonna work, though! Does he go
Oh
for the
my
red?
gosh!
No!
It's not! Wow, but what a great play, what a great top deck to be able to draw this back. Oh, what a top deck by Vapor! Oh my gosh!
Seth, have you ever? That is
No. But remember, we ended up seeing in the pre-match notes as well, Vapor in his last matchup, it was the top decks that really helped him out. He got it again here at the end of game 1.
You got to ask him, man, about that red finish, too. What was those last 2 cards? And that was insane. That fast pace is killing us already. Go for it, Seth.
Absolutely. Yeah, Vapor, you got hit there. Down to 2 cards. You got drawn back. Did you have a finish there? Were you in all one color? What was it looking like in that scenario? Could we have seen game 1 over early had you not been drawn back?
Wait, when he +4'd me in blue?
When you +40, yep.
I was going to switch to red. I had red 6, red 8.
That was the last 2 then,
Oh,
right?
wow. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
So, yeah, it wasn't likely that I would have won there, but yeah. I just got lucky on the top deck.
And I gotta ask you real quickly, too. I mean, going off on game 1 with the 5-card start, we talk about how a lot of the control at that point in time is based off of what the bot gives you, not only with the initial, but usually in the draw city. Coming into this matchup, your last matchup, you got a lot of luck with the top deck draw. Was that what kind of also played into your strategy of starting out here with this 5-card start, relying on the top deck again, and we saw it pay off, obviously, here at the end?
I mean, yeah, I don't know how much of like a superstition it is, like being lucky with the bot and stuff, and like how luck translates between, playing a series in another server like Dreamland or whatever, and then to the actual tournament. But this morning I played some practice, and I was getting really good hands, so I was nervous that I wouldn't get anything. And then my initial hand was pretty bad. I only had the yellow +2, but just I was kind of frustrated at the bot because I got numbers from the +4 that he gave me. I only got numbers from the +2. But just kept being patient and stuff and just playing the game out and then just getting lucky at the end there.
I mean, Peter, you did everything right. Crazy balls you switched over. I'm telling you, that's some guts right there, especially after you switched. What made you feel confident before a top deck? Give me the mindset of why you switched. Was it the case because of that filter? Considering it was only 5 cards, you felt more confident with the switch, considering you just went to green and you were maybe hoping for a breaker, maybe a red card, or even a +4. Ironically, the funny part is if you just, I guess, feel it out and say, okay, I'm just going to draw in that yellow 5, you would have got the +4, and who knows how that would have went out. So that just shows you the micro margins on 5. You can't really be upset. That's just the case of tough time there.
Yeah, I mean, that's low card plays. So I isolated myself a little bit earlier in the game because the last card I had was a blue. And I'm like, okay, he'll just keep rolling with the yellows. I can switch it to red, hopefully get something on the draw, and it wouldn't have mattered anyways. Okay. That's just these low card starts. We haven't seen them a lot, haven't done them a lot, so I just got to readjust my mindset a little bit. Not worried at all. It's game one, long series.
Yep. And Seth, I think, did you put the scoreboard up? I think you're good to go.
I did, sir. Yep.
Appreciate that. And I think I still can't believe that sequence, man. These guys are definitely trying to maybe put us in the coffin early here. Good Lord. But all joking aside, man, that was a crazy set. But you just heard Peter right there. He's got to adjust. I don't think he did anything wrong. It really came down to a little bit of the tortoise versus hare, and that's what Vapor's definitely pulling the hair card. He's going quick. He's trying to get you off. I might be doing some, I don't know, behind the back magic with the old Jack right there, and not even looking at his cards and sending it. And Peter, he's got to learn to adjust his pass. I think he slowed just a little bit down, was cleaner with it. It was a good game. I think they both have, even though it was a 5-card start, got a little feel of what's going to come in terms of pace and maybe some ISO for sure. Is that how you saw game one for sure from a commentary perspective?
Yeah, saw no mistakes on either side, and an interesting point of note as well here. Both of them, obviously the +4 is a huge killer for a top deck draw, but we saw a top deck draw there for Peter as well, being able to get the top deck and get it over to the red to hopefully ice Vapor out. So we've seen both of them be beneficiaries on the top deck draw. It will be interesting to see now that we've set the tone with this kind of low card tier in this first one, if we start now increasing in terms of what we have here, try and look for a little bit more ammo. But both have shown that in terms of the number efficiency and kind of like little 1-2 jabs here with the ammunition they were given on the low card start, they've both been up to the task. This is looking like it's going to be another good one that might run a little long.
Going to be a good one, and Vapor will get the start again. I think we know where we're going here. Vapor, game 2, no 5. What do we got for a big set here? What are we thinking?
Why don't you take your guess?
Is it 6?
No, you're wrong. It's 13. Let's go 13.
Okay, I know you.
I'm saving that one for later.
Yeah, I know it's always back there. I know it's always back there, but I got.
Yeah.
It's Vapor. You got to expect it.
Hey, that's not a bad guess though. I love the 6 card. Anyway, it's gonna deafen up.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. So I did have that in my notes. Vapor with the 6. It's always a possibility, but he definitely steals one on 5, so it goes a little higher. And he brought an interesting point. He is playing in one of the other events. We talk about that all the time with the exhibition events in the Grimland server, which are more fun events. We talk about formats there and other servers trying to guess that luck. I had thought about that in 2023 with the old bot, but I had never thought about it with the new bot. Sometimes playing, practicing, getting the old demons out, whether it be good or bad, isn't the worst strategy a day before a match. But definitely, you got to have the right timing on that for sure. But thoughts on that a little bit? That's an interesting comment and a half.
Yeah, because it is easy to kind of get frozen out and try and get your groove back, right? If you've been sitting out, say in a tier of a tournament, and you're waiting for all the other matchups to finish up before you find out who you're facing in the next round, it can be a little bit of iced out there mentally, and you have to get the wheels spinning and try and find some grip on the drag strip there to be able to set down a good lap time. So in that case, keep yourself sharp. Keep yourself mentally sharp there. I like that. Make sure that you don't end up having any opportunity for any type of mistake. And yeah, I really like that idea to, make sure that you don't end up having just a little too much rest. There is such a thing as a little bit too much rest when it comes to mentally.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's Nick, right? He had that bi-island week and just couldn't be able to get it in gear. And that's the problem when you're on that island. Sometimes great, you get to avoid round 1 and watch, but unless you're at every game, it's very hard to get back in gear. Playing is one thing, and commentating and spectating is another, as there's a little typo. Well, that's what you expect from Vapor anyway. It's Fast and Furious, the demon, for real.
Yeah, repetition's great, and repetition in quick succession is usually very beneficial. It's interesting, too, with Vapor going with the 13 cards. He's already established the victory in the lower tier, so I like him going up a little bit higher, testing the upper limits here, saving the potential 6 or 7 for later on in this one. We've talked about it, that there are never 2 consecutive games the same, it seems. And so, test the waters. You're up 1-0, see what happens up in the upper tier. So I like that call on the 13. Whoa. Hello.
What? Blink and you miss it. That is...
Yeah, right? I looked away for 2 seconds.
Man, I can't... I don't think it was anything, Peter, other than that wild.
No.
You had any questions, Seth? That's crazy. I was just trying to warm you up to get a nice little crescendo, but we didn't get it. I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, if building up to the climax of the movie, and you rolled the credits on us there, Vapor, but monster hand, and I mean, yeah, sometimes you end up having a hand like that, and you just have an air of confidence before you even play the first card of, yep, I've got this, I got this game. Did you get that feeling there with what you had, or was there any doubts in your mind of something that could have been on the other side of the table to stop you?
Look. The hand was hardly monster, okay? The hand was hardly monster. The reds, he didn't have reds, and that won me the game because I could just red straight into blue. Because I didn't have any connectors on those reds except for that one blue 6, and he did the switch for me, which is why I said after you got outnumber of fished, because that's what happened. He tried to dodo me up and switch me on the 9s. Nope, back pocket 9. That's what's gonna happen if you just, I don't even know. I don't want to be confident or anything. It's like not like he did anything that like tried to disrespect me or anything, but that's just. I don't even know. He played that game perfect in theory, but he played it exactly how I wanted him to play it.
Yeah, it fell in your lap there. I got what you're saying. Yeah, Peter, it's interesting. Now, before we get to that number of fish, the wild yell, was that a breaker to try to make a run, or was it a case of you were just maybe looking for ISO because he had switched off and thinking, okay, all these switches, maybe I can go for a fool's play? Because I don't really think you did anything other than that, like I said, number efficiency, but you really didn't have many options if that was it, was just the wild, I'm going to guess, right?
It was ISO. I had a +4, but I didn't think he was going to have a 4-card finish at all in that with how much we were both switching throughout. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting from here.
Yeah, beat to the punch. And Seth, that's the thing. When do you time it? And we. Okay, so that's. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with then Vapor's assessment there. It was more, okay, you didn't have really you had the +4, sure, but sometimes when it falls in your lap on the switches, you got to take it and run with that for sure to the bank.
Yeah, and everything that we're hearing from both Vapor and from Peter is deja vu of my matchup with Ed earlier on this afternoon. Talking about the fact of the number efficiency, I believe it was the first or second game that Ed and I had, and every color that he ended up playing, I had a number swap over for, so kind of tough to combat that. In terms of just the timing, having that wild +4, I ended up waiting one turn too late when I had a wild +4. And everybody, I'm certain everybody in this tournament has had those little pitfalls there, those little second-guess moments, having the luck on the number efficiency and everything. It's something that you just can't really necessarily combat. You just got to try and play your own game and hope that everything works out on the other side of the table. So, I can't really say much more than that. I can't see anything that Peter could have necessarily done differently except for that wild +4 one turn sooner, but how do you plan for that? How do you plan for that? He talked about not necessarily being prepared for a 4-card finish. It's interesting. I don't know if it's just based off of it's maybe just more the gameplay. As we could progress further and further here into this tournament, from 64 to 32, we went from about 2 3-card finishes to 4 and 5-card finishes. But now as we're here into the 16, we've been seeing as many as 6, 7, 8-card finishes. So how do you plan for that? You can't.
Everyone's really good up here, and especially when you get a little bit of lady luck on your side as well. That's lethal combo for either party. And listen, it can shift. We've seen this before. A lot of things can shift in this. And
oh yeah.
Peter knows.
Vapor said something about not trying to get too overconfident. I was up 3-0 on Ashley, and she nearly ended up pulling a reverse sweep on me. So, the confidence is obviously there because you feel like the ball's in your court, but you can't overstep.
No, he knows that, too. He was there for that game. He was actually the one to say it could go 7.
That's right.
So, yeah, I remember that call. Appreciate that there, Seth. But, all right, Peter, free board, buddy. It's all you, man. What do you got here for this game 3? What do we got?
OG7.
OG, and this is where Peter can step in and say, okay, momentum changer. Cody Smart's going to load us in. Seth's got the scoreboard. This is where it gets changed right here, Seth. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely, going right in the middle. Classic. Vapor's been able to kind of establish the low tier, establish the high tier. Now we'll see who's going to be captain of the ship in the mid tier.
OG7, OG. All right, here we go. OG7, yellow 4 to begin. This is Peter's shot right here to say he's got to make the break, and that is not what you want to start with. I'm telling you.
No.
But that's okay. That's a break from the Uno gods. Say, okay, you guys are gonna work on this game 3 colors. Let's go, man. They're going quick.
Well, is it, or with the initial draw there by Peter, is Vapor saying, okay, all right, you're looking for some ammunition? I'll play along with you here. Vapor could very easily have had a yellow to be able to play, and he's deciding that if he can just keep the possession even amongst the two of them, he's more than willing to try and find some more ammo.
Well, they're going to draw back. They are nip and tuck, going back into Draw City off the starter. And let's see.
And who knows as well? Peter may have had yellow. And he didn't want to play it. He was looking at the possible connections, and he's like, you know what? If I end up playing my yellow, I might be iced out. I don't want to do that here in the early going. Let's draw a little bit, see if I can find some connectors that way.
All right, looks like it's going to be... What is that? Full send? Yeah, so we'll start it off a full sender. Okay,
yeah,
we're
pretty much.
Oh my! Who blinks first? Well, they're both going to do a little blink. Now the game begins, Seth. Here we go. Now we're starting. Let's just casually start back at the full send. How about that?
Pretty much. We've just reset.
Reset it up. Reset it. All right. Here's Peter's card. We'll re-rack him here. Here now. This is where it gets interesting. Though the switching becomes very linear. Peter back to his own card.
Brings it back to the blue there. Oh, wow. And now Vapor iced out on the blue. Interesting, because he initiated the color swap off of yellow to the blue. They've been relying on number efficiency to get him over to another color, and now he does.
Yeah, he switched. You can see the read. I can already tell he was pre-typing. That's interesting. Peter could have switched into red, as they are just flying here. Zero sugar. Vapor more so. That you can see Peter's trying to use some of that pace management, but Vapor is flying Hawaiian right now.
Peter gets it back over to the blue again, though. Great number efficiency out of both of these guys here in these early matchups. Oh, wow.
This is crazy, man. Now Vapor ices out. Oh, wait a minute.
Vapor now over into the red. He gives Peter a way out.
Peter gets a chance now, and he'll roll with it. And I think right here, Seth, there's two things. Either one had a pretty bad hand, or they either said, you know what, we both have a decent hand, we just need to wait for that yellow as an enabler. Who blinks first on the yellow to go back to it?
That could be exactly the thing, because, we haven't run in the yellow at all this entire game outside of that initial starting card, so that might be where the ammo is, and they don't want to use it right out of the gate.
Two coloring at the death right now, into the green, and Peter with a double. Okay, nothing too crazy. Vapor, dittos. That's an interesting ditto, because Vapor may have gave Peter a chance to enable the switch, but he doesn't there. This is crazy.
Another ditto.
Double ditto on the fives. Peter with another chance to enable. There it is. I was saying it.
There it is. Did we just unlock the lock? Is Pandora's box getting opened up? Yep, looks like it.
There's the double play there from Vapor, and just like that, Peter only up a possession, but he has the lead with two freshies in the back. Let's see.
And normally, if this was a best of 7, we would consider this a must-win game for Peter, and maybe not necessarily the case, but certainly would like to draw back a bit of momentum being down 0-2.
And we got the power play on the board as well. Here comes Peter, though. What does he load up right here? Looking for a possible finish. Would be his first time all series that he hits at least into a territory of it.
We're at the 4 cards as possible. Oh, wow.
Vapor is
iced out on the yellow.
He's got the trips. So he was hiding. They were both hiding, to say the least.
Yes, absolutely. Question is, does Vapor have a finish here? Might be looking for number efficiency. Is he able to close out on yellow? Did Peter get lucky with a little top deck there? Or, remember, he had a +4 in waiting back in game 2. Didn't use it. It was too late. Does he have something here now that Vapor's down to 2 cards? Does he have a drawback card?
Peter loading on. He's got to take his time. This is the time to think about this one. You don't want to fall down 0-3. I know it's best of 9, but still. And he's just going to go
there
for it.
There it is.
Good move. Let's keep it in yellow. Wow, that is a gutsy call from Vapor to go to red. That's insane.
Yes, it is. So I would assume that yellow 9 might have been the top deck
work. Wow.
that Peter got, but he used the +4 to draw him back, and now Interesting. The red skip into the draw. I did that in the matchup with that. It didn't work out so well.
Peter or Vapor with a heater into your own card set. Does he have a chance right here to finish it off? Let's see. No, into his own
He's
card.
gone to the card the color he wants. Now in control. Yeah, this could be it.
Peter, nothing. Vapor.
Now Vapor's got it. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yep. I was gonna say number efficiency might come into play, but no. Double +2, double play finisher there for Vapor, and he goes up 3-0.
You got to ask him the question there, Seth. I think the key I want to know about this one for sure was when he got to those couple cards on the yellow where he hid those. Let's go ask him.
Yeah, I mean, Vapor, obviously, you didn't have the possession arrow in this one, but when you ended up seeing Peter right out of the gate draw, did that give you a little alleviation there of, all right, I'll play along, we're going to draw a city and try and accumulate a little bit more ammo, or did you have some good ammo right off the bat?
No, I drew all those yellows back to back to back to back. So those yellows I built up and then just didn't use them. And I saved them for later because I knew he was weak on the yellow, and then once I could get the switch back in with the number efficiency, I just kind of split ammoed that down. I expected the +4 there. I luckily was able to get him iced on the red and then switch over to the green, and then he was iced there. And I figure if I went into yellow, like if I had a yellow for the finish, would have been a different story, but kind of lucky that he was straight iced out there.
That brings up an interesting point. You talk about being prepared for that +4 as you were only 2 cards away from a finish. How difficult is it? Because obviously you start getting towards the middle, the latter half of the game, you want to start using the ammunition, but how difficult is it when you're already prepared for that +4 to try and put scenarios together to be able to rely on that number efficiency when that offensive card is played?
I mean, yeah, it was number of fish, because when you played the +2, it was +4, it was a yellow 2. I was going to go green 2 and then have the wild as the last card. So it was partially number efficiency, partially just luck. But when it comes to preserving your ammo in the case of a +4, I mean, that's a nuance of the game that really it's kind of hard to pick up, because you see the ammo, you want to use the ammo, but sometimes it's important to just let it sit and wait for the right moment, and that's what I was able to do this game.
Peter, this game really came down to that early top deck draw. You did save the yellow. I thought you did a good job, but you both did. So did you feel confident in saying, okay, I don't mind drawing back here. Let's get it to a full send and see where it goes? Because really, I would say right there, that ultimate decision didn't hurt you, but it didn't really get you out of the box either. 'Cause I thought your +4 in yellow there was good at just to keep it in the box, but you got exposed on the wrong number, and he was able to expose you back in the red. Was it just a lack of red, trying to save the yellow and go off kilter that cost you, or did you just not have the confidence, maybe per se, in the opening couple turns of the game where the switching was cleaner?
Oh, I didn't have any confidence in my opening hand. That's why I started drawing and just chased it until I felt like I had enough. But I've been in a box for 3 games now. It's tough.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, other than that game 1 where I thought you pretty much used everything you had in terms of your skill set, it really has been that way for Seth. The bot, I would say, it's been there, right? You look on paper, they've only played 2 wild +4s, 1 wild, right? Peter's had more skips, Vapor's had more +2s. Peter hasn't played a reverse, but it's weird because it really is a numbers game in disguise, where the numbers are just not adding up for Peter and are just right on the limit for Vapor, to where he can just make those cleaner switches and get Peter on a twist. Basically, that's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Vapor's just been lights out with the number of efficiency, and I've been trying to look back through here and dissect if there's like anything that Peter's able to do, but when you don't have the ammunition, that takes away a lot of capabilities in terms of the offense. So, the momentum is obviously right now on the side of Vapor. Peter's saying, this is the 3rd game that he feels boxed in. If the bot on this 4th game can just give him a little bit of levity in terms of ammo and allow him some ammo control, we could see him very easily draw this thing back.
Yeah, we've seen stranger things have happened. Vapor's no stranger to unfortunate comebacks and unfortunate stories. Let's not forget some unfortunate things that have happened to him in his career. He's had a long career, so he knows can't let your guard down. Peter, we're going to get one back. Peter, last home game for a second here, buddy. Game 4, free board. What do we got?
We'll start all the way up at 15, full send.
Full send it. Peter's going all in right here, Seth. Got to do it. Say those words.
Never lift.
Never lift. Let's never lift as we go into the full center. And once again, Seth, another yellow. I highly doubt we're going to see drawing here. I'd be shocked. We'll see.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised Peter going up high tier, top floor, because, you know, best opportunity, best odds to be able to get some ammunition. You know, I thought that when we were at the 13 card start, you know, maybe have a little bit of luck in that regard, but definitely didn't seem like that was the case. So he's trying to play the odds here with higher tier.
Yeah, definitely playing that as... Oh, boy.
Huh.
Okay. So this is going to be the second, same song, second verse, I guess. Seth, this is...
I'm shocked. I'm perplexed. I'm gonna go find a thesaurus and try and find some other synonyms that match up with that because, yeah, 15 card start and we're already in Draw City off the initial first card.
It's got to be a case of this. They don't got the hands. Man, it's something.
I mean, yeah, we gotta wait and see too because if I remember on the last game, I think it was Vapor that opened up Pandora's box. A little ditto play here, so not really opening it up here for Peter. It's literally the exact same card. So does.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Little double play there.
There we go. So once again, almost the same meta where it was just a little blink and then now we're full on. Let's see. All right, now they're just flying.
We're gonna run a while. Yep.
They're flying into Vapor's car. We go to Aria, back to a G6 again into Vapor, double Vapor from Peter, tied up.
Ice is thawed. River's running a little bit now.
Yeah.
Going from a trickle into well, we might be going into a full-fledged flood now because the gates have been opened.
Yeah, we're in the red. We're full. We're full into it now. Here we go. Now they're starting to go quick and double. A lot of double. No, Zach.
Yeah.
We're seeing. This is what this bot does sometimes, where it's giving you the exact same cards as your opponent. How do you get out of that bot? It's hard. That's not easy.
It's very difficult, especially too if it's a card or a number that you would maybe like to hold on to on your side, but then you're like, well, maybe I can ice them out if I end up doing a ditto play.
Look at
So
this,
it's
Zach.
a 50-50.
This is unbelievable. Quad fours, double dittos, and this is the exact. Look at that. This is insane.
We're running a lot of low cards here too. I don't think we played a card over 4 in the last 7 or 8 plays. We're down in the bottom floors right now. Still gonna contend even the bottom floors as we'll swap over back into the red.
Before that red now, 11 straight cards were played of either 3, 4, 6. And look at this is just.
I'm almost wondering too.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to be able to observe a lot of Peter's matchups. I don't know if this is necessarily something that he brings to the table with the rapid light switches. We know Vapor obviously does, so I'm wondering if Peter's trying something different here, trying to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to match you at your game and see if it works out for me in number efficiency.
Well, Peter is a number efficient god, but he does it more calculated. This is definitely playing into it a little bit. It worked with Goldie, definitely worked with Nick. But I think the case is that, like I said, this is rare. We're seeing the exact same numbers being played. They have almost the exact same. It could be a run to the finish. I'm telling you, that's what I'm sensing here. Oh my!
Oh wow! Yeah, you called it. We're getting a 7-card finish. There's no way you play a +2 and a +4.
Oh, he messed the blue +2 up. I think. I don't know. Oh man, this is. Is this going to still be game? Oh.
He's going to get back to the +2 anyway. Wow.
I got no words for that set. That is unbelievable. Okay, so that's a monster. I don't even know, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts. So he was trying to chain the blue +2 to the green +2, but he had the out with the second +4 to get to the blue that he needed for that final blue 7. Vapor, I mean, kind of a little deja vu of what we saw from the last game, but it looks like this time it was, like, I'm looking here, 2 +4s, 2 reverses, 2 +2s there at the end. What'd you have on the initial draw? What did you get when you guys went into that little draw city at the beginning? I mean, it's kind of been back-to-back games that you've been more than willing when Peter goes into the draw city in the early going. You're like, all right, I'll match that.
Yeah, initial draw I had red reverse, green +2, yellow reverse, 2+4s. So I was still monster at the
Wow.
beginning. I just drew the blue +2. And that could have all been prevented. Like, not all prevented, but mostly prevented if he hadn't just like played into my hand so much. Because he played into every switch. Like every time I wanted to switch it, he would switch it for me, so I didn't even have to. So the game was made convenient for me. Even though I had the convenience of having a ridiculous hand, the game was already made convenient for me. So I think that's been the moral of at least this game and game 2, was he's just played, my hand's just been played into just like straight. There's nothing really else to say about how I've been able to get there, just playing into my hand so much.
Peter, but is this a case of the only counter to that? Are you playing into the hand because you just don't have the delta on action cards? Was that a similar story to the same game where the last game where you just had to draw because you're not getting the cards and you got to make something happen?
Well, you're getting 5 power cards off rip every time, then there's only so much you can do, and
Right.
I'm getting talked down to when somebody has stacked hands every round. I is what it is.
No, I get it. No, and that's the thing, right, Seth? When you get all these stacked hands and it comes to a point where you gotta try something, you think about the switching, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind. But then when you take a step back, if you look at the stats, the switching has been crazy because Peter has only switched 13 times, sure. But somehow in this game through 4, you look at the average, that's basically, what is that? That's basically 3.1 switches. It's just the switches that are happening is just falling at the right place at the right time, and then it's enabling Vapor's hand. And Peter, he's doing everything he can. He's trying to run the pace, run the cleaner switches, but ultimately it's just one or two that's just maybe off the kilter, and you can't do much. It's playing in a box, and unfortunately for Peter, you just can't get out of the box. That's how I view it, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't have the ammo cards off the draw, there's really only 2 paths you can take. One is try and rely on the number efficiency, try and either ice the person out, force them to play those offensive cards, which then could give you new cards to work with, maybe give you some offensive cards. And then the other thing is the light switch, which again, to try and meet the exact same thing, to try and find a color that they don't have, force them to have to use those offensive cards, specifically the +2s and the +4s, give you ammunition you need to then be able to feel like you're on a level playing field. And, we saw him be a little bit more aggressive talking about Peter here in this game with the light switches and the number efficiency, trying to find that out. But as Vapor said, it just kept playing into his own plans, and, there are games like that where you look at the card they play and you think, wow, okay, I was going to utilize this +4 to get over to this color, to this number, but now I'll just play off of what they gave me. You can't plan for that kind of stuff. Peter's doing everything that he has to do in the box that he's been put in here in terms of trying to draw out those offensive cards, and unfortunately for him, he's just kind of falling into exactly the color and the number swaps that Vapor needs.
Yeah, I can see both sides of the story. It comes down to really, how do you find yourself in this box? And we saw this with Ashley, right? How do you get out of it? And really, there's not much you can do other than hope that one break will go your way. If you get that one break, it can spark. And that's what Peter's got to do here to try to spark the series. For Vapor, I mean, he's got everything in the world in terms of momentum. I mean, Seth, he's won, I believe, dating back to the Camaro series where he's won 11 straight. That's an ultimate heater. I mean, at the end of the day, that's when you're hot, and when you touch it, it's like, man, it's on fire. So it's definitely a double-edged sword, and that's another thing. These guys, they both play the same style on number of fish, and when you get that style too, where do you find the extra tenth? And sometimes the extra tenth isn't to be found when you get some really good ammo, right? So that's the I guess the caveat in a series where draw city. I mean, game 1, Peter can admit, okay, he did everything right. That can't do much on 5. The last 3, the draw cities, a little bit of that, just a misfortune on timing. It sucks, but that's how the game goes for sure.
Here's the tough thing too. we're going here into a must-win for Peter, and Vapor's still got that power play in his back pocket. So, Vapor's got options now. If Peter ends up getting close to having a finish here, draw it back 4-1, Vapor could potentially use it as a defensive power play and put the ball back in his court. He can hang on to that here. I mean, you could very easily still find a little bit of comfort in a 4-1 lead or a 4-2 lead, still have that power play available. You may not get the hand you're looking for right here off the draw going into Game 5, and so you hold out for just a little bit here. For Peter, I mean, it's very odd when you end up going into a best of 9. You find yourself already 4-0 down. I don't want to say that you have to have desperation in thinking about that power play, because there's every possibility, and we've seen it before, where he could draw this back 4-4. That scenario is very high percentage with what we've seen here in this tournament before. The problem is, if we end up seeing Vapor sweep this thing in a 5-0, you haven't used that power play at all. It's on the back burner, and it's not getting used at all in this tournament. So it's a lot of questions here for Peter. It's a lot of different scenarios he's going to have to kind of balance out here as he tries to at least get a 1 on the board.
Now we're going to find out. It's Vapor's turn. Vapor, free. Basically, it's free money right here, buddy. You got. Yeah, I was going to say that. I think more than the power play set, that backdoor 6 is going to be the key. That's what I'm thinking, because he's going to try to ice it right here. He'll go for the red 5 start. Pretty even start, nothing silly. Here we go. Well, ditto's the bot. There you go. 2 plays right there. He's already down to 4. Now how does Peter respond? That's the key.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of knew that we were going to end up seeing him go down there to the lower tier. Couldn't play on 5. Was definitely going to go on 6. It's like we're going to go into a draw city.
That's the biggest break Peter can hope for now. He's got to get some top deck luck, because he needs to try something. That's the best thing. The aggression's through the roof, and he's just going to go for the aggression now and take the lead right back. There we go.
I like it. Even if you get down to check and don't have a finish, have at least the possession here.
Here comes Peter now. What does he get on this yellow? Let's see. +2, and he goes for a double. There it is. Botch is taking a second. There we go. So that's now Peter down to that check, maybe, Seth. Let's see. Does he have it? Peter looking for the win here to get on the board. Does he get the finish for the win?
He might have it.
Nope, just check, though.
Oh, and a check.
What will Vapor do right here? Plays it clean. Peter for the win.
Did he have the yell to finish it out? Was he looking? Oh, he might have been looking for the number efficiency on the 9. Did that just open up the door? No, it did not.
No. Vapor now starting to run into it. What will Peter do here? He goes into blue. The gangster
into blue. Oh,
that,
boy.
Is that game? Oh, my God. That is unbelievable. I got nothing on that one. Said Vapor pulls the brooms. I got nothing. I don't know what to say on that one. That is...
No.
I mean, Peter, I don't even know what to say on that one, man. The only thing you could have maybe done, I mean, it's not much, was maybe think about a power player, but at that point, did you have anything, or was it a case you just went for the break on that +2?
I would have. I damn would have. Yep, that was on me, that game. Can confidently say that.
Okay, that one, okay, so you had a power play thing, just didn't think about it?
I had a blue +2. I could have saved it. I didn't have to use it on the yellow immediately.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Could have ++. Could have power played. Could have won that game.
Okay, so that one you can, yeah.
That was me.
I'll say this much though, Peter. Despite the tough start to this round, I would say this round may have not. You had a good start to the tournament. How do you build on for a T3? Because let's not forget, last year you were sitting here at 1-2, and the questions were being at least this year you got the 2-2. And you had
either way, I'm still going to be seen as a second-rate player, so it doesn't really matter. Everybody that's not in this voice chats right now are going to see 5-0 hosing, and they're going to be, okay, so what? I guess I got to keep lying low.
Lying low, yeah, keep it that OG style. I got you. Vapor, I will go to Seth on you. Seth, go for him, man.
Oh, if you got a question for him, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say Vapor. That one was a game of just, I had a feeling just go for the 6, right? Go for the bang shot, right? The money shot in a way. Was there anything there that you really could have maybe saved? Did you think those control draws on the red? Did you want to just control draw and let him switch because you sensed the aggression? I don't got much other than that to add, really.
I mean, yeah. Red. I just had the red reverse, the red 6. I didn't have any red the rest of the game. I got lucky that I drew a yellow 4, or that his +2 gave me a yellow 4 to connect to my green 4. And then green 4, green 1, and I'm thinking in my head, well, the way this series is going, he's probably going to switch to blue, and he did. So, yeah, just kind of unlucky on his part. The whole series just been kind of unlucky for him, and I'll touch more on that in my quote. But yeah, that game was pretty crazy.
Now, your thoughts on playing, obviously we know if it's Myth, we'll get the rematch. If it's Logan, we have no idea. Your thoughts on playing either one? We know both, Myth for sure definitely plays that quick, unbelievable 5-minute style of Uno. Your thoughts on either one, though, because Logan can play quick as well when he needs to, but has a little bit more similar pace to Peter.
Yeah, I mean, the Myth matchup would be fun. Obviously, I play fast, he plays fast. That game could finish in less than 10 minutes, honestly. I think that's definitely a possibility. But also Logan, I don't really know anything about Logan's game. Really, like, rookie, right? Is he a rookie or is he a vet?
Novice.
Or novice? No, yeah. So, like, hasn't really been around too long. I haven't paid attention for too long. But I'll definitely be paying attention Thursday when they play. And yeah, I think either matchup would be a good time. I'm just kind of afraid of Myth because of what he did to me. Was it Masquerade May last year, Elite 8 or Sweet 16, something like that. I went up 4, and he reverse swept. So that's a hard one for me. So I'd like to make redemption for that. But either way, I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, it was the 4-2, right? You were up 4-2, and all of a sudden here he comes with that low tier. Yeah, it's definitely one of the tough losses. I mean, it's quicker stream here, but like I said, I think both have merits. Vapor got the switches for sure, what he needed. Peter, in a sense, was in a box, and unfortunately, sometimes when you're in that box, there's only a certain amount of options you can do. You feel for him. I think at least he can go home with some solace knowing, hey, you know what? At least I got to the Sweet 16. It's early enough in the season. Get the 2 wins and start to build momentum. For Vapor, you got to think opportunity central here because we go to the bracket. As I said, it's either going to be him against Logan or a rematch with Myth back all the way in T3. Thoughts on this match and what we look forward to moving forward?
Obviously, with Vapor, we ended up seeing a lot of the good light switches, and obviously he benefited quite a bit on the top decking and the initial draws as well. For Peter, there weren't any mistakes. I mean, he talked about the fact he could have played that +4 back in game 1 a little sooner, but you can't plan for that. You can't plan for that at all. He talked about potentially being able to win this game 5 with the power play, but you're still at a 4-1 disadvantage, and then you don't have a power play for the remaining games. So the tough thing for Peter was with the bot meta and what he got off the initial draw in pretty much all of these games. He kind of felt like he was playing from behind, always on the back foot on the defensive. And, while that can sometimes end up swinging the pendulum into your advantage, Vapor always had the cards to be able to answer back. So that's just a tough thing. But you can't look at your gameplay and you can't go back and dissect and say, could I have done something different? Because I don't think he could have. I think he played a stellar game, and it would have just come down to the luck of the draw as to who the momentum shifted to. I don't think that either one of them outshone the other one in terms of gameplay here. It really just came down to the cards that they were dealt and what they were able to do with them.
Yeah, and Peter says just felt like I was out of my control most of it until that last game, pretty much. That's why I thought was right, and sometimes it's nowhere near enough. All credit to Vapor on the reads. Hope he'll come back swinging next time. Yeah, I think and that's one thing. You got to use it as a positive. It's a long season, and I think both guys know that. But for Vapor, a big win here as he moves to 4-1 the season. Peter will go 2-2. As I said, winner of Myth and Logan, whoever wins that one, will go to play Vapor. And when you play against someone similar to yourself, it can often be the most terrifying. But it worked out really well for me. Peter played well, but he got outlocked and outnumbered efficients, basically outfished. I played as well as I could, and it has led me to this. Yep, Vapor moves on to another EA, I believe 3rd or 4th in his career, as he starts to stack it up. We'll go into that schedule, and like I said, that's it for me and Seth for today. We're going to hand it off to the night crew way after dark, Seth, way past our time. 10:30 at night, Diablo Region. Only 2 1 seeds left. However, Yepes the only 1 seed to win 2 games. Of course, I was the other one, but had a little of a mishap there. So Yepes Lero way after dark, 10:30. And then tomorrow we'll have Gone playing, which appear at 4:30. No idea on if Rut's game's going to finish. There's supposedly a cutoff time at 6 o'clock, hard stop. We're going to try to get Caesar on that and finish it as much as we can. And then the big one tomorrow will be Nam and G at 7. And there is a potential 3rd game. Maybe if Andy and I can play. We don't know the time on that. It's either going to be Wednesday or Friday. We'll keep you updated on that. Don't have much of a word on that right now. But we'll keep it rolling on that. And then the last 2 games as of now are scheduled Myth Logan. And the big one, Caesar Monkey, to round out the round. Potentially, pending my game. Should be a fun one there. Caesar Monkey, of course. A crack battle. Thanks for watching, guys. I want to thank Peter for being a good sport despite the L. Vapor for moving on. Seth for a long day of playing and can be shoot. He was out here since 1 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock. We are going to definitely earn that night off as we enjoy ourselves a little bit. But once again, thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate everyone here. Emory, Cody Smart, the ref. Caesar tried to ref. Unfortunately, had some stuff come up. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you attempting it. That's it for us. We'll see you back here tomorrow with Nam and G at 7. Enjoy the nice stream with Shore and Tapir way past dark at 10:30. Goodbye, everybody. We will see you at 10:30. Or if you want to check us out at 7 o'clock in prime time with the boss. See you tomorrow at 7 with me and Austin. Have a good one.
Well, I could say this. I felt exactly like how I felt